Hey everybody, I'm coming at you with, hold on, do I have anything in my teeth? No, I don't. I'm coming at you with some old ideas. If you guys can remember back, I did a review, a book review on, a book. And I'm gonna do another one today. And it's a book series I really like. Artmis Fowl. Well, let's get some more light in here. Yeah, don't mind whatever that noise is. Anyway, what the? This is... Disney made this! Disney... What? What? Wait. No, wait, this might just be a review. The published? What? Don't... Well, we might be seeing this in Kingdom Hearts then. I would actually pay good money for that. I really would. Anyway, the book series is about Artmis Fowl. That guy right there. And it's a really good story. Like, he has money and he wants to get more of it. He's a criminal mastermind at the age of 12. With a setup like that, do you really need any more of an explanation why you should read it? And it's more than that, it's actually a really good read. And there are some parts where, yeah, I kind of knew what's gonna happen. In fact, that's a problem with the story. You kind of know everything that's going to happen. Like, you know Artmis Fowl is going to get the gold in the end. You know the Holly Short Death fairy he kidnaps right there is going to live in the end. In fact, nobody dies. Nobody dies in this book. And and at some point they get you with something you don't expect. And, like, you know what's gonna happen overall. It's just how it's done you don't know. And that's what the good read part is. It's a really entertaining book, and I give it an 8 out of 10. Oh, I should explain the plot a bit. The plot is Artmis Fowl, he needs to get money. This isn't explained into a second book. And so he kidnaps a fairy, part of a police organization called Leap. And he successfully captures her, and so it's pretty much Leap's job to try and get her back. Leap doesn't want humans to know that fairies exist or mythical creatures like that exist, so it's their job to try and stop Artmis Fowl, erase all the evidence that they were there, and it's a really entertaining read. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm only doing the first 4 reviews of this series. Reason for that is, I've only read 4. there's a total of 8 books, and I'm working on getting the fifth one. Anyway, on to the next book. And Artmis Fowl, the Arctic Incident. Now, to be perfectly fair, I remember little to nothing about this book. It's not a bad read, but it suffers the same problem as the first book. You basically know what's going to happen overall. You just don't know how it's going to get there. And, however, they still have some twists and turns. Like, I can remember some things about it. And it suffered from a sequel-itis where, well, Leap and Artmis Fowl Bag were opponents. Hold on. Yeah. Were on opposite sides in this book. Here, they have to team up. Now, the problem with this is you know they're gonna team up if they made a sequel to the book. And that was just one problem. It suffered the same thing as the first book. You know what's going to happen overall. You just don't know how it's going to get done. However, now, this one? Oh, I forgot to rate the first book. Oh man, I'm all over this review, aren't I? The first book, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good read, well worth looking into. The second book, I give a 7 out of 10. Mostly because you know what's gonna happen, but it's still a good read anyway. Now, time for my favorite in the series is actually the third book, Artmis Fowl and the Internal Code. And this one's my favorite because, unlike the previous 2 books, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if you guys know anything about Artmis Fowl, you know he has a bodyguard named Butler. For a few chapters, he dies. What? Okay, that was something I was never expecting. And granted, they bring him back for some bullcrap, but you never see it coming. I was actually shocked that the writer did that. And you know what? It's used as a plot device. It's just used so in the next book he has a reason to bring Butler's memory back, which is something in the book that everyone loses their memory at the end. Well, all of Artemis' friends and stuff lose their memory, and it just uses a plot device to bring back his memory. But you never see it coming, and it's like that throughout most of the book. I mean, granted, at first, you know what's going to happen. You know he's going to succeed. His plan's going to succeed. In fact, in the first book, the reason why the first book is so great is because you know Artmis Fowl has everything planned out ahead of time. In fact, that's the problem with its sequel, is that Artmis Fowl makes a plan near the end. In this one, everything's planned out ahead of time, but you don't know that. I mean, when I thought Artmis Fowl lost, I thought he lost. I thought he was going to come up with some other plan. But in the end, it turns out he didn't lose. It was part of his plan. And that's what really makes the third book better than the other 2 books. The first 2 books, because they really got me with that. For the Eternal Code, a 9 out of 10 there. Now, time for my least favorite. The Opa Deception. Now, something I didn't mention in this one is that the bad guy's weak. I mean, actually I should say bad girl. I mean, when I first read this, I had trouble remembering who Opa was. In this one, the bad you know what, I should go into more plot detail about this one so this one makes more sense. In this one, Artmis Fowl trying to look for his father, and that's what he needed the money for. He was using it for fun to find his father. And and Leap is having a problem with an organization that's run by Opa, or whatever her name is, Opa Keebler. Don't correct me. Tomato. Yeah. If I get a letter from the person who wrote these, I will imagine why. Anyway, in this book, that's why they needed to team up with, so that Artemis could stop them and Leap would help him find his father. Which was pretty nice. Actually, you know what? I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. Same thing as this one. They're both good stories, and the first 3 books are really good. They're really all worth looking into. In the 4th one, however, now I'm telling you now, I love Opal Keebler in this one. I mean, I don't even remember when she first appeared, but I love her in the 4th book. She just granted, this is still my least favorite book. Now, I will be fair. The beginning and the end of the book, I liked. I really liked how they wrapped it up. I really liked how they started out. It's the middle part of the book I didn't like. And it suffered the same thing that the first and second book did. You know what's going to happen. You just don't know how. And to be honest, sometimes you do get, sometimes in most books there is how that way happens, like in Harry Potter. If you're watching Harry Potter, you know he's gonna somehow get by Cerberus. You know he's gonna do all that stuff. So I think I'm being a bit harsh with that. Yeah. But at the same yeah, you know what, I'm being a bit harsh. But the biggest thing I dislike about it is pretty much the second book rehashed. I mean, in the third book, Artmis Fowl and his company lose their memories about all things fairy related. So Opal Keebler, who comes up with this brilliant plan, mind you, and it really is smart. And one thing I never saw coming was there's a character named Julius Root, and he's the commander of Root, and I really like him. He's in the first book, one of my favorite characters. He's been one of my favorite characters in all the books. Well, not the third one, because he doesn't really make much of an appearance. And they killed him off in this book. And unlike Butler, they don't bring him back. Never have I been so tempted to point the middle finger, but remember, that's a sign of a good character. When you want to point the middle finger at the guy for killing off a character. That's a sign of a good character when you want to do that to the person who wrote the book. And yeah, that's kind of it. It was only the beginning that I liked and the ending that I liked. I didn't like the overall part of it, which is why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It's a book you really need to read in this series, and quite frankly, it does this. One thing I do like though is how they do say stuff from this book. Like I said, the plot device for Butler, when he lost his memory, Artmis Fowl said his name in this, and that's what got his memory back. Like, it was just the plot device. Now, overall, I gave you what I thought about all these, but let me talk about the characters. Artmis Fowl essentially, he's one of my favorite. He's actually my favorite character, along with Holly Short. Artemis Fowl first kidnaps Holly Short, and that's how the first book begins. And that's how the rest of the adventures start off. After that, more characters come in like Foley. Foley? He's for me. I know he's important to the story, but I really don't care much for him though. And then there's Julius Root, one of my more favorite characters. Actually, to be frank, I like the majority of characters in the Artemis Fowl books. There's really only two that I don't like, and that's Foley, and I just don't really care for him. I don't dislike him. And the dwarf, I don't even remember his name. The dwarf. No joke, he's a legit dwarf. And the only thing I really remember about him was how, in the first book, he farted that took out Butler. You know what? Reading the book just sounds ridiculous in on himself. And yet there's scientific logic behind it. Well, not behind magic, but there's logic behind why farting takes out a person. Yeah. And most of the characters return. But one thing is that Julius Root and Foley don't really make an appearance in this book. Another character that I was actually expecting something completely different was Butler's sister Juliet, I think. And to be frank, they made Artemis Fowl 12 and Juliet 13. Now, when I first read the books, I knew they were that they were going to bring Juliet back. What I didn't expect was it being in the third book and she's 18. Yeah, I always pictured Artemis and Juliet hooking up, and I just did. Now, with most of the characters, it's a pretty good book series. I haven't gotten into 5, 6, or 7, or 8 yet, and I'm working on getting the 5th one. Now, there is a pattern I do notice here, and I have looked this up. The bad guy for all the even number books, 2, 4, 6, 8, is Opel Keebler. Oh gosh, what was that guy thinking when he wrote this? Aeon Cuffer. Now, I don't mind a bad guy coming back, but for every even book, kinda... I mean, I just don't really know what to say to that. I thought Opel Coppola was done for when she was in the first book. I didn't even remember her from the first book. And granted, I'm going to be looking forward to reading about her in the 6th book. But if the pattern keeps up the way it is, it's all the odd books are going to be my favorite, and all the even books are going to be my least favorite. The Artemis Fowl collection? The first 4 books are pretty good reads. The 4th book is not as good as the first 3, and everyone has a different opinion on that. I recommend them even if... Yeah, I really recommend them. They're pretty good. Even if you can tell what's gonna happen, they're still pretty good. Well, see ya.